Hi, this is going to be a discussion around the previous changes that I made to FishGibble. Where's the camera? Here. Yeah. I'm going to talk about the sunken ship level. I'm also going to be talking about exciting changes coming for the company. We're going to be at ComicConAfrica. I'm going to show it again in a few minutes. So this is where we're going. If you're in South Africa, come here. It's at the Kyalami Convention Center. You can go and check it out. It's really cool. We're going to be there. We're going to showcase the game. We're going to be there. You can ask us questions. You can play the game. You can play the game anyway now, but you can get some, or you can just come and point and laugh, whatever. If you think it sucks, that's also fine. But if you're in South Africa during that time, 14 to 16 September, a little bit short notice for the international people. Okay, let's move on. I'll show that again in a second. Let's focus on what I want to do. I want to show some changes that I made recently to the game. Let's hop on over to Maya, and I'm just going to open up the sunken ship level here. It's not a sunken ship level, it's a sunken ship model. And this idea was brought on by one of my friends who suggested it. It's a great idea to have a sunken ship level. I also introduced a few new elements to the game. The game has also seen a lot of bug fixes. But I'm not going to show too much of that in this video because we're always short on time. So let's just hide this for a second. I know this is the most uninteresting and boring door you've ever seen, and that's okay, right? So here we have a hole. This is one of the models that I made. It's not the prettiest model. This is not in smoothing mode. This is this is how it looks. 1100 verts, 2300 polys, or triangles. This has been textured in Substance. This is not the boat, so this is the hull with some extra. You can see these components here that I've created. Keep in mind these textures were created using Substance Painter. I'll show that in a second. I know the boat doesn't look fantastic. And then I've also added some trimmings. Now it looks a bit more interesting, I think. It's still not great. I would have loved a few more weeks to really work on this. But it is what it is. It doesn't look horrible. Let's be honest. It's not going to win any awards. But okay. So and these components were all modeled. These rails and poles and things were all modeled separately, and I'll show that in just a second. Let's just take a look here at the poly counts. It's showing 54,000. Now, yeah, that's pretty high, but also keep in mind I do not export this as is to the game. I do LOD this, and I'll show it in Unreal Engine in a second. So these were all created using separate components. I didn't add any cloth. I would have loved to, but unfortunately the version of Unreal Engine that I'm using, 4.17, excuse me, uses Apex clothing, and to use Apex clothing is tricky. It is tricky. The new version 4.20, I know they've made cloth simulation extremely easy and bringing cloth into your game extremely easy. Oh, I got a slobber alert. One of our bassets is encroaching and they slobber all over the place, so I'm just gonna quickly get them out of the studio. Almost. Hey, go. Good boy. Go. Back. Go. Okay, let's close the door there. I'm not going to edit that out. All right. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, this was textured using Substance Painter, which I'm going to show in a second. So this is the the external. Obviously, this is the outside of the ship. I mean, if you go inside the geometry, there's nothing. You know, hello, there's nothing here. This is not the internal level, which I'm going to show in a second. I just want to quickly open up the Substance Painter side of this. I'm going to drop out here. I can't open up everything at the same time, but it does affect the system while I'm busy recording and so on. So let's go take a look at the Substance side. I'm just going to open up the ship here. It should have the hull, not the trimmings, because the trimmings were created separately, and I'll show one of those quickly. And here you can see, let's put this on a... Also, when we're at Comic-Con, we're going to be giving you a chance to use these tools as well, if you're going there. You see that blockiness, it's just rendering. So this model, I mean, the textures and that, it looks okay. It's what I wanted. And we can just open up one more here. Let's see. One of the poles, for example. Right? Very boring when you look at it on its own. But when you put it together in a... Yeah, you cannot see anything here. Let me just that off. I mean, the texture here is pretty good. Now, some sources of great textures that I've been using recently. Let's just get something open here. There's two ways. Obviously not going to show it right now, but I will make a video on that at some point. Free textures, one of my favorite places to go. So at free textures, you create an account. You can use these are all digital pictures. You obviously need to edit them or whatever in your favorite editing program to make them tileable or whatever, and then you can bring them into Substance Designer and export them as SBSAR files, import them into Substance Painter, and off you go. There's an alternative, and I have used these guys as well. Substance Share. Amazing site. You can download SBSARs directly from them. I'm not sure if they have paid ones, but all of the ones that I'm using so far are free. And they have a ton of stuff here that you can use and play with. I have found a lot of them are a little bit too light or too bright for the current game, so I'm just warning you, you might... I'm not sure if you can edit them after that, you know, after bringing them in as an SBSAR. But I haven't needed to, because you can always darken something in the game using a color blend or whatever in your material nodes. And let's just quickly jump back to Maya for just 1 second, or 2 or 3. I just want to show this guy as well. Actually, I wanted to show this model in ZBrush, because I just quickly want to show that too, because it kind of fits in. It's going to be a little bit of a long video, sorry. Okay. And it doesn't look like much. It looks like a little bit of a blob. It's just a blob. You know, played around with my Wacom tablet and created this because I wanted something where the player can clearly see, okay, if I go in here, something's going to happen. Even though it's also, I created a little marker for the player to know. And then this was textured using Substance. And in Substance, and obviously in Maya, I'm only using the diffuse here, so you can only see the diffuse. If we just make this look a little bit prettier. Oh, don't think you can. So this will then obviously be covered by, if you imagine the whole day, this would be covered by other geometry like rocks and etc. You know, for the player to move in, and then you'd have a level transition there to transition them to another map. Let's quickly jump back to Sunken Ship. I'm going to jump around a little bit here. I'm going to close ZBrush for a second. So what I was talking about earlier, these guys were made separately. What I'm talking about is this is a wooden step, for example. So these steps were created and then I played around with that to create the steps that you see here, you know, the wooden steps that you see here. Now granted, I should have probably created 2 or 3 of them, and then these rails here were all created in the same sort of way, right? I see nothing too spectacular here. And they're fairly low poly. And once again, all of these have been exported to Unreal Engine, and they all have LOD on them, level of detail, meaning the closer or the bigger they are on screen, the more level of detail they're going to have, the more polygons, etc. And the further or the smaller they get, or the smaller they are, the less polygons, less level of detail. And depending on the object and its use, I would create more or less levels of detail. If it's going to be something you're going to be seeing a lot, or if it's used in the open world, I'd prefer 3 or 4 levels of detail. If it's something already that's already going to be small, I'd only probably use 2, and it already has not a lot of geometry. I'm just opening Unreal Engine here. And let's start off by looking at some of the models. So let's jump on over and see if we can find the ship here. Where is it? Over here. So this is the Galleon. And this is what it looks like. I made a blueprint of it. The textures look like poo because you first have to stream the textures. It's a big game, it's a PC game. It's not a mobile game. It uses a lot of textures, a lot of models. So yeah, let me just get that back quickly, and the textures should be fine because they should have been streamed now. And you can see as I'm getting closer, it's level of detail 1, 2, etc. But let's do a quick example of that. I'm just going to focus on the hull. The hull has been imported separately. So this ship was created using blueprints. So this mesh was exported from Maya and imported. And now if you just look on the where my mouse cursor is, you can see my mouse cursor there, triangles 1.9,000. As I move further away, it jumped to 944 and they're 186. So that's very, very low considering. Let's take a look at another one. Something that might be a bit more beefy. Take a look at the ship trim. One of the trims. 4,800 on level of detail 0, and as I move further away, jump to 2,300, and there it's on level of detail 2, which is the lowest level, I think. Yeah. 438, which is extremely low. It's from 4,000 to 400 is what? I don't even know how many. That's okay. What is that? Percentage wise, like 4,400 is 10% of what it originally was. Because obviously you're not going to be seeing this detail this far away. You don't need to see. And also the materials, I always use a high level and a low level material, and I start swapping out. Quickly show that. Let's look at LOD0 material. This guy. So it's a material instance. Its parent material is this substance matte. I just call it substance matte, even though it's just a normal material. And what I mean by normal material, it's just a material created in Unreal Engine that uses a normal map, roughness, metallic. So it's a physically based rendering material or rendered material. Just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So that's for the high level material. And then as you move further away, it swaps out. So if you look at wood step matte here, I transition to a lower res material. So let's look at wood step low res matte. Just 1 second. Let's look at this wood low level or lower level material. I'm looking at wood step low res matte. Okay. Now this guy, also a material instance, and if I just go look at his parent, not by doing what I just did. You can see he only worries about the base color. It also has a couple of material nodes in here for tiling the material, but it only does base color and then just parameters for metallic and roughness. So it's very, very cheap, or relatively cheap. Now putting that all together, as you move, as the ship or model itself gets smaller, you'll see the different levels of detail kicking in, and that's that popping that you see there. But it's very subtle, and it's supposed to be subtle. And depending on the geometry and the mesh, it's going to be either more visible or less visible. You know, you can see it in any games, from AAA games to indie games. It's visible. When you're looking for it, you're going to see it, because that's the only way to do it, right? So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a swim to the Galleon. I'm using a test build here, so I've got some skills right off the bat, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But what you're going to do is you're going to swim up to this guy, do what you need to do, get in there. I was hoping, hello, oh wow, what a shot. I was hoping this guy was, someone was going to attack me, because they usually do. I mean, oh, look at this guy. So the bigger the fish are, one of the last changes I made recently, was to give you an indication of the fish difficulty is by scanning them up and down. They already have customization in them, so they don't all look, you know, the same. Oh wow, he just used the skill on me. But I want to explain that more in another level, in another video. Sorry. Where is he? Wow, he's using some skill here. If I use this too close to him, my grenade. Jeez, this guy's strafing as well. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna die, and I can't see anything. I'm also not making the textures transparent for the plants, and that I don't want you to see through the plants. I really don't. So let's hop on over to the Galleon level, which is what this whole video was actually supposed to be about. I don't need to save anything here because I didn't make any changes. I hope it doesn't break anything. And the first thing I want to do is just quickly go through the level, what I call the level design of my intention of this level. So let's just get rid of a few things here. Let's start with a filler. So this is going to be after you've went through a transition, and now suddenly, bam, you're inside the ship, right? So this is just viewing it from the outside. Get rid of the grids, holes, and the steps. I think this is good. And the dividers. Sorry. So this is the level that I sort of started with. So this is the inside of the ship. You're going to start here, then it's going to be these levels where you're going to have stairs or whatever, and you're going to move through the level. And you're going to need to do stuff here. I'm not going to do a playthrough now, but I'm going to play through some of this. Okay, so it looks very boring like this, obviously. We add some dividers, and you start getting something a little bit more interesting. There's those horrible doors. I'm not going to redo them. They're not, you know, all that important. We add the steps, and we add some fillers here, and poles. And now the level is sealed. It's sealed off. It's not going to look like this when I run the game, which you're going to see in a second. I'm just going to jump down to level 3 here for fun. There is a quest. Obviously, all of these levels have a quest that you need to complete. The quest is fairly simple. I've shown some of it in previous videos. I'm thinking it's going to be here. It's got a quest controller. The quest controller just follows your progression through the level using various triggers and whatever, and then just ensures you're completing those objectives. Or as you complete those objectives, it reaches a specific area or etc. Then it will kick off the next objective in the quest. Now the quest itself for these levels are usually pretty stock standard. Explore, escape, explore. Excuse me. Find something, escape. That's sort of my mantra on these guys. But like I said, we did make a lot of changes to the gameplay. There were quite a few bugs. I want actually a level where there's a safe place so I can just hide out for a second. Wow, now I can't find one. So here's one. There shouldn't be one, and I think. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm just gonna jump on over to the game, and that will wrap up this video. So let's see. You can see the frame rates there at the top aren't too terrible. Considering what's going on here. Also remember there are environment spawners that's populating the level with sponges and things, so it's going to look a little cramped. Okay, it's going to look a lot cramped, and that's okay for this level. This level is supposed to be cramped. Now you have these grids here that you can't go through. Now these grids, there are multiple ways to go through these, and when you play the game you'll find out. One of them will be using the attraction sphere. And another way is after you've unlocked shooting. Oh, someone's going to attack me. You have a. Oh, I'm going to die. Yes, this is. Oh, yeah, I'm dead. After you've unlocked shooting, let's go to the safe place. After you've unlocked shooting, you're going to automatically get the grenade ammo. And that's going to allow you to break this as well. But like I said, there's more than one way to break these. I think this way is more fun. Wow, he just spawned right behind me. Yep, here he comes. Not going to fight him now. I could. So in this level, you're going to be getting the possession skill. Like I said, I'm not going to do a playthrough now. And he took some damage there. Chop. Ooh. Okay, I'm outnumbered. Go away, run away, run away! I'm gonna swap over to my pebble ammo. These guys are really overpowered. The idea is, once you get to this level, you're gonna be really strong already, and you're gonna have a lot. Your skills are gonna be a lot stronger. You're not just gonna. Well, I don't know. You might die as well, because the entrance to this guy is gonna be blocked off. Just one more thing I quickly wanted to show why I showed the cave entrance, and then we'll wrap this up. So that's the Galleon. That's the sunken ship level. Maybe it looks boring to you. Maybe it looks like fun. I don't really know. For me, it's fun. It's difficult. Really is difficult. You're gonna die a lot. I don't know. If that's not your kind of thing, then you probably won't like it. So let's go find a cave entrance here. Can't remember where there is one. Is it over here? Is it over here? Is it over here? I think it's over here. Ah, it's over here. Okay, so let's just bump in here. Oh, there you can see the little there's a little sneak peek of the next level I'm busy with. And then this is an example of using the cave entrance and what it looks like in game. Come on. Oh, great. Press the wrong button. And because this level has a player start, you're automatically gonna start from there. Now I need to just find that spot again. It's over here. Yeah, it's over here. So I just gotta hit play from here. There we go. Also made the level a little bit lighter, so then you could enter the area using this here. Now obviously as the minute you get here, it's going to trigger and you're going to go, load the next level. It's going to play a little cutscene and bam, off you go. But this is just an example of where I've used the cave entrance. Now because I've shown you this, you're obviously going to see clearly, oh wow, I can see clearly there's there's a mesh that looks like that here. I'm also getting a little bit of infighting here with some collision artifacts. At the top there, I'm not sure where it's coming from. Like here, I'm getting pressed down by something. But I promise you, go and look at other games that you've played. And look at some of their, especially open world games, where they go from an external or one map to another map where they transition, and you will see stuff like this, where they're using clearly something to give an indication of transition. I know, like for example, Far Cry 3, they actually make holes in their terrain geometry, and then they patch those holes up. Because I can see that when you're using the glider, you can see straight through that geometry, the hole where the hole is, because they've made a hole there to put these fillers here for you to go. And that's also how they do the caves. It's built by making a hole in the actual geometry and then terrain geometry, and then putting meshes like this all around it to fluff it up so it looks like an actual cave. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying once you start looking for those things, you're going to see them, because they also use culling and they use level of detail. So when they cull out these meshes, you see the hole in the terrain. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's how it's done. And there's another place. Well, there's going to be a few places where this is used, but let's just quickly see if we can find the haberdashery. I think I did show the haberdashery level. And I hope I did, because I'm really jumping the gun. I didn't really. I think I did show the haberdashery level. You get another skill there. Where is it? Where is it? Why can't I find it? Come on, man. It's over here somewhere, isn't it? I'm looking for a landmark. It's supposed to be right here. Where is it? Let's just switch this off for a second. Oh, the game. Come on, where are you? Why am I not finding this? Wow. Didn't make the landmark big enough to find. Okay. I know how else to find it. Here. Should have just done that. Yeah, man. Okay, this landmark is not that huge anyways. Pretty unnoticeable. Anyway, so let's play from here. And that's gonna wrap up this video. Come on, come on, come on. Right. So you'll find this area exploring or whatever. There's a guy here you can talk to, yada yada yada. He's probably gonna have nothing interesting to say. And this has an arrow pointing here. And if you go here, you're not gonna see anything. Come on. Ah, there it is. And once again, you'll see here through the grid. I'm just reusing that cave entrance asset there again. Get this really low and you'll see that's the entrance to the cave. So this is done a little bit better. You can't see the entrance to the cave that well, but it's the same asset. I could have done that just with rocks, but doing it with an actual asset is just much cooler. Okay, let's see where we are. So don't forget, if you're in South Africa, Comic-Con, Kyalami, 14 to 16 September 2018, obviously. ComicConAfrica, the first time. You can check the sponsors there. I think you can see the sponsors clearly there. Not the sponsors of my video or anything like that. Sponsors of Comic-Con. Awesome people. Yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to have a little stall. Is that what you call it? I don't know. We're going to be exhibiting the game, showcasing it. You're going to have a chance to play. You can fiddle with all the stuff I showed you here, except the game. Obviously, I'm not going to release the source code. I'm not an idiot. But the game's going to be free. You're not going to give us any money. We don't want your damn money. We just want you, if you're interested in making games, come around, say hi, play with Unreal Engine, play with Maya, play with Substance Designers, play with Substance Painter. You can fiddle around with all of the equipment that we're going to have there. By equipment, I mean we'll have a Wacom tablet that you can fiddle with, play with the ZBrush. Yeah, come check it out. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, that's the video. Where's my camera? Where am I on? 2. Thanks for watching.